In today's wackiness, a group of teenagers whipped the behinds of two NYPD officers in the heart of New York City. It's one of the most pathetic things I've seen in a long, long time. I have so many thoughts on this.
Hit me.
So allegedly, it's a group of migrant kids. So that's going to be a problem for New Yorkers, number one. Number two, these police officers, they could have killed these police officers. So if it is true that they were arrested and released, that's insane to me. Number three, this is proof that we should not be lowering the physical requirements for police officers. We should be raising them along with the salaries. And I'm not understanding how in the year of 2024, our Lord, we haven't figured out that most police officers, at least in urban cities, are going to be dealing with people physically and up close. Why wouldn't martial arts training be part of the training? What say you, Jay?
Makes sense to me. But I saw an interesting statistic that pointed out that cops only need 5 to 6, no more than 700 hours of training. And it's a lot harder to become a beautician or a someone who does nails or several other things. They require more than 1,000 hours.
That's pathetic. That's pathetic.
Yeah, and it differs from state to state, but in places like California and New York, yeah, it's kind of weird. And so
I
maybe
want avatar cops. They should look like 6'11" Nazis.
and not Nazis, but yes, they should be physically capable
I
of
didn't say
doing the
that they
job.
should be Nazis. I said they should look like them.
Okay.
Because you see a couple of those motherfuckers coming through your door. Let me tell you something. You ain't going to try to fight those dudes. You're going to comply. These kids whipping these cops' asses on video did not encourage me to think that all the funding that police officers are getting, it's working.
Yes, there's video, and they whooped these guys' butts. This is my first time seeing it. This is
Honestly, they
ridiculous.
could have killed them, and I don't support it at all. And now, if these police officers had just pulled out their gun and started shooting at them, I would have been totally okay with that. Jumping somebody is the weakest form of fighting. And if you're going to do that, let alone do that to police officers in broad daylight, you're going to get what you're going to get.
Yes, and these were plainclothes officers, so these were not undercover or I'm sorry, these were not plainclothes officers. These were officers were in regular NYPD clothes. There's no way you could have confused them for anything else. And
wait, say that again, because that sounded kind of cloudy, Jay. Were they in police uniform or were they not?
They were in police uniforms. They were not plainclothes officers. They were in police uniforms. There's no way you could confuse them for
right, for like the hot dog guy or something, right? Like that, like you know they're cops, and they threw them on the ground and whipped their asses, and a couple of them kicked the cops in the heads. I mean, it's horrible, and I hope those police officers are okay. Just because I don't support institutionalized law enforcement doesn't mean I want any harm to any individual police officer. And what I saw was shameful. And quite frankly, when they arrested those kids, the first thing they should have done is call their parents. If they are indeed migrants, then as far as I'm concerned, those kids could be immediately deported.
Yes, and the video shows that it starts out where the cops are just kind of asking them to move it along. Mm-hmm. Looks like somebody started something and then they tried to arrest an individual and that person physically resists. The cops are trying to get a hold of that person, and then their four homeboys
just start bugging out.
Therefore, their four companions, the four people they were with, came and started fighting the cops. And the whole thing's on camera. It doesn't look like the cops started this thing. We'll see. The camera jumps. It goes from, hey, move it along, nothing to see here, and then all of a sudden
thump. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand where the footage is in between and what led up to that, but it looks terrible.
5-on-2.
Terrible. And I'm noticing that the incidents like this and just violent incidents on the coastal cities or in the urban cities is increasingly younger and younger, and that's disturbing to me. And I think a lot of that has to do with lack of trades in school. This is a generation of kids who are graduating without being able to read and write on grade level. And there are no jobs because all the little holiday jobs, part-time jobs, summer jobs that kids used to do, now migrants do, because I guess Americans woke up one day and decided that kids were too good for these jobs. I don't know. It's just a very weird time that we're living in, but nothing about seeing those kids whip those cops' asses made me feel any confidence in the police force. And I really have to question, what are the police doing with all the money that they get?
Well, let's also be honest. Those cops aren't really allowed. They can't pull out a gun in that situation. If they had pulled out a gun and shot one
Really?
of
Getting
them,
jumped by
then
5 kids, you can't pull out a gun in that situation?
I think they're afraid to pull out a gun at this point. And if they pulled out a gun and shot one of them, then everybody would be screaming bloody murder. There'd be people in the streets, and especially if they shot a migrant.
Really? I
Um,
don't know. I feel differently about this situation
I know
specifically
you
because we
feel
have the
differently,
video. You know what I
but
mean?
in New
We have the
York,
video of them beating their asses. I mean, really? Would we be opposed to them pulling out their gun? What about their tasers? What about their pepper spray? What about their batons? But it didn't
yeah.
even seem like they had the physical strength to do that. And that to me is concerning.
Well,
I
they were getting jumped, so they didn't have a chance to pull those things out
oh,
because they're already on the ground. They're on the ground with one. Two cops are on the ground with one, and then the other four jump in. One of them tried to kick the cop so hard that he actually fell down himself. He's kicking
yeah.
with
I
his
mean, they
right
kicked
foot
them in
as
their
hard
head.
as he can, and he kicked so hard that he slipped and fell. Which that means you're kicking with a lot of force. You are trying to hurt someone.
This was horrible. I mean, how this isn't attempted murder on police officers is beyond me.
Yeah,
And I mean, I understand that the pendulum is swinging the other way in response to the years of recognized brutality due to the systemic racism that is embedded in law enforcement, which is different from saying every police officer is a card carrying racist, because I don't believe that to be true. I believe there's quite a few police officers who are not racist, but the system inherently is. So that is the concern, which is why the pendulum swung the other way. But we've got to be reasonable. We've got to be reasonable. And watching
yeah.
two police officers get their asses kicked on TV and not be able to defend themselves. I mean, those kids were kicking them in their heads. As far as I'm concerned, they were trying to kill them. You don't
Especially if
think
they had,
so?
especially if they had steel toe boots on in New York. You know, they were rocking
Anything. I
Timberlands.
mean, shit, you kick somebody in the head with a sandal, you could kill them.
Well, there have actually been people I've read of in the past that got charged with assault with a deadly weapon for for stomping somebody in the head or kicking somebody in
Yeah,
the head.
man.
I have seen that before. In the instances that I've seen, it was a black person who did the kicking or the stomping, and people were upset that the person was facing assault with a deadly weapon. But I've seen videos where somebody literally jumps with both feet in the air and tries to stomp as hard as they can with both feet on someone's head. At that point, like, come on, dude. I don't see that happening here, but there's clearly some serious assault. And you say they've already been released,
Allegedly.
and are they will have a trial date? They're just released on bail, correct?
Let's see.
I'm on New York Post right now. Also, Governor Hochul said deport them.
Yeah, man.
And
Come
these
on.
are
If they are truly migrants, and we're not just saying that, I don't know. They seem to have face masks on. So it was hard to tell what they were or who they were, or what they looked like. But let me see. I'm pulling up.
Yeah, I'm seeing Gomez, Ezekiel, age 19, Calvin Servada Arocha, 19, Juarez Wilson, 21, Yorman Revron, 24. This happened, I guess, 42nd Street and 7th Ave.
42nd Street
A
and
fifth
2nd Ave. Okay,
suspect,
so that's by Grand Central Station.
yeah, a fifth suspect, Yohan Boada, age 22, was arrested on Monday. Okay, Manhattan
This is
District Attorney's
ridiculous.
Office said it is still investigating the incident and reviewing additional video of the alleged assault. So they're probably going to face charges at
Okay.
some point. However, this is going to galvanize the Republican base, the Republicans in New York. Everybody thinks New York City is a Democratic stronghold. Bloomberg was mayor not that long ago, y'all.
Right. Don't get it twisted. And Governor Hochul won this seat by the skin of her teeth, man. And the person she almost lost to was a Republican who is anti-abortion. And I find that astounding how close to winning that guy came. I mean, in my lifetime, I never thought I'd see anything like that.
Well, that's the thing. The rest of New York is nowhere near as blue as New York City.
Right. And if New York City almost went in that direction, what does that tell you?
Right. And New York Governor Kathy Hochul suggests deporting mob of migrants who pounded on cops in caught on camera attack near Times Square. That's the headline from the New York Post. And I know the New York Post can be a bit flamboyant. a bit
Times Square with
a bit hyperbolic.
Ursula and lead story tonight. Anthony.
Let's see.
Well,
I am
yeah.
looking
I
at
know the
it.
New York Post can be very hyperbolic, so we're not saying that the New York Post is
Right, the holy
the
grail of information. I mean, but it
yeah.
is a source. Let's see. I'm looking at ABC News. 2 police officers were assaulted attempting to break up a disorderly crowd outside of a Midtown migrant shelter. 5 suspects have been arrested so far. 7 more are being sought. So, I mean, that's over a dozen kids that they got jumped by, and they did get kicked in the head. Scuffle broke out. Several men assaulted the police officers, kicking them in the head and the body. 1 officer suffered cuts to the face. The others treated for bruising. 4 suspects were arrested. All were charged with assault and released without bail. That's ridiculous.
No bail is kind of ridiculous.
That's
The whole
for this kind of crime it's not. This is beyond the pale. This is assaulting a police officer.
And I mean, assaulting anyone, and also it's assault and battery. So first of all, if they don't have battery charges, then I need to know why, because usually assault is like balling up a fist or raising it. Battery is hitting someone with that fist. But if they're facing aggravated assault, then I guess that's different. But it seems kind of obvious that, like, okay, do you want to take up resources from the court system and go through the entire thing where they get a public defender, and there are, there's other cases in the court that are going to be held up. Do we want to go through the whole
NYPD Commissioner
court
Edward
thing?
Caban.
Do we want to go through the whole court thing, or couldn't you just deport them instead?
They should just be deported, and they're out of their rabbit ass minds acting like this. They've been charged with disorderly conduct and gang assault.
Gang assault. Okay.
4 of the men were arraigned and released. That's ridiculous. Yeah. They kicked those men in the head. That's intent to kill somebody, as far as I'm concerned.
And I don't think there's anything
with this.
I don't think there's anything racist about saying, yeah, maybe you should be deported, because if you're already here illegally, you wanted to seek asylum.
I don't give a shit what country you're from. You can't come here and pop off like that and you're like 12 years old. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need this bullshit. We got enough lunatics who live here and are from here already. We can't add any more to that. This is ridiculous.
And also,
the privilege to get to this country, then act like it. You know what I mean?